Hey G-Fans, GojiFan93 here, and welcome to a new top 10 list. Well, sort of a new top 10 list. This is going to be my top 7 saddest moments in Godzilla Redux. Because, if y'all know, I did try to upload this video yesterday, but of course Toho was blocking it, and they wouldn't let me do it because of copyright, because the original video was showing footage from the movies. So what I'll have to do with this video, it'll just have to kind of be a bunch of pictures with me talking over it, so that Toho doesn't block it again. Also, before we begin, I would like to credit my Patreon supporters and give them their rewards. This is the reward for $5 and up that you get a personal shout out in my videos. So these are the guys who gets the personal shout out. Here we go. I would like to shout out Kajetil Havas, I hope I spelled that right. Danny Richard, A Sousa Production, Alex Sousa. Ross Everson, I hope I spelled that right, or I hope I pronounced that right too. And Reese Miru. I hope I pronounced that as well. So I am terrible at pronouncing names. I'm really sorry, guys. But thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. You guys are getting me really close to getting Kaiju Fantasy Battle up and running again. We're actually $5 away from actually having the show come back alive. So I'm very excited. But so without further ado, let's begin the list. To start off this list, we have, I would say, one of the saddest things shown in a Godzilla movie. In the 1971 drug fest known as Godzilla vs. Hedorah, we witness Hedorah's sludge crashing in on a 70s trip dance party, which one guy is tripping out and seeing people with fish heads. Once people start to see the sludge come down the stairs, we witness the partygoers panicking and trying to escape. Once the chaos subsides and the sludge leaves, it unfortunately leaves behind a poor cat covered in Hedorah's sludge. Now, this might seem funny, but when you think about it from the cat's point of view, that cat is probably gonna die from pollution poisoning. Next, we have one of the best Godzilla films, GMK, to give us definitely a sad moment on top of many sad moments in this film. The one that always stood out to me is the woman in the hospital. When Godzilla attacks the city, he makes his way towards a hospital where a woman with a broken leg is resting. She starts to feel the ground quake and then sees Godzilla from her window. Basically helpless, the woman starts to scream and try to call for help, but it's no use. Then when all seems lost, Godzilla just passes her window and all seems fine. Until Godzilla decides, oh yeah, I'm pissed, I don't like this big building, and proceeds to whip the hospital with his tail, and more precisely, the woman's room, killing her. Damn, Godzilla, that's harsh. Now, we all love Anguirus, right? He is so awesome and one of Godzilla's best friends. Well, we get to witness one of the most brutal moments of the Godzilla series in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974. When the fake Godzilla first appears, Anguirus has noticed something isn't right about his buddy. So he goes and tries to calm Godzilla down by, of course, fighting. You know, because that's what monsters do. Anyways, Anguirus finds himself in a predicament when he discovers this is not the real Godzilla. He gets beat up real bad, and then the Mechagodzilla decides to maim Anguirus by grabbing his jaw and going all King Kong on him, breaking his jaw open and basically killing Anguirus off in the Showa series. So sad to see. Of course, the dark, classic original Gojira has many sad and depressing moments, but the one that always gets to me is at the very end when Dr. Serizawa and Ogata go to kill Godzilla with the oxygen destroyer. From the moment they suit up to the death of Godzilla and Dr. Serizawa, it is nothing but emotional music and the feeling of sadness as the oxygen destroyer activates and starts to kill Godzilla. The part that always kills me is seeing Godzilla come up for one more roar and then sinks to the bottom of the ocean and dies. What a scene. From the beginning of the franchise to the end of the Heisei era, we get an emotion-driven kaiju film in Godzilla vs. Destroya. We have been following Godzilla Jr. since he was born in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. So it makes it even sadder to see him get brutally murdered when he fights Destroya. When his father gets taken down, Bastard Face goes after Junior, lifting him up in the air and dropping him from a high distance, plummeting down onto a building, killing him. This is truly heartbreaking because Godzilla goes up to see his son dying, and we actually see some emotion from Godzilla in sadness. And yes, I know that at the end of the film Godzilla Jr. comes back, but the first time watching this scene, you don't know that, and it's still sad even after watching it many times. Okay, now we are getting into some real sad stuff. Thought we couldn't get any sadder than the death of Jr.? Well, think again. In my favorite Godzilla film of all time, The Return of Godzilla, the humans discover Godzilla is attracted to birds, more specifically the noise they make when flying in groups. So the humans make a plan to lead Godzilla into a volcano, trapping him with the sounds of birds. This scene is so depressing because even after all the death and destruction Godzilla has created, we still feel for him and yell at the screen telling him to go the other way. The worst thing is when Godzilla falls in, we hear him scream in terror. Not cool, Toho. Not cool. Okay, y'all saw this coming, and if you saw my first video of this list, the death of the Big G himself. Not only does Godzilla die, but he melts down in a very graphic way. There isn't really anything new to say that hasn't been said already about this scene. It's so sad and depressing, especially with the wonderfully composed Requiem track. This scene was so impactful for many of us G fans, and I only wish I could have seen this in theaters when it first came out. I will always remember this scene. Alright guys, that was my list. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me in the comments what your saddest moments were. I would love to read them. And as always, stay big, G fans.